You're listening to Bold Hearts, Big Moves, the show for female entrepreneurs who want it all: a thriving business, deep self love, and fulfilling relationships. I'm Erin Anderson, and each week we will dive into how to set stronger boundaries, make empowered choices, and show up in life and business with boldness, authenticity, and heart. Because let's be real, the money you make is directly related to the love that you have for yourself and the strength of your relationships. So if you're ready to lead with love and make those big moves with those bold hearts, let's dive in. Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode of Bold Hearts, Big Moves. This is the podcast where the female entrepreneur can come and get advice about her business, her relationships, and about being the next best version of self and how to create the boundaries to protect it. So, I wanted to talk to you guys today personally because, there's actually been a message on my heart, um, because I have been going through some of my own personal changes. And, when I talk about like the 7 different types of boundaries, right? Where you've got your listening boundary, your talking boundary, your physical boundary, your sexual boundary, your energetic boundary, your time and your money boundaries. And, as a entrepreneur, I think about time, I think about money, I think about creation, I think about, safety, I think about my ability to communicate, because these are all things that go into being an entrepreneur now, aren't they? Right? We're we're constantly, and I think even especially as women, we are constantly creating, uh, thinking about other people, whether that be our kids or our clients or our friends, our church groups, etc. And when you get into entrepreneurship, it creates also this type of growth, this type of move forward. And I have definitely like personally been in one of those growth phases. And I've been thinking a lot about like my business in the process, because I've felt like there's still been something missing in what I've been saying and how I have been showing up, and especially in like the way that I want to deliver this podcast, right? Because I I want this to be something that really, really feeds my audience in really, really powerful ways. And so, that's caused me to go to prayer, it's caused me to search scriptures, it's caused me to sit, because boundaries in the way that I understand them, and understand in saying like boundaries are about understanding yourself. They're about loving yourself and seeing yourself as God's creation and intentionally acting as that creation, and a refusal to act outside of it, right? That's basically what a boundary is. That's a major message. I also am passionate about people, and especially women, creating money so that way she can further her business purposes and do the things that she wants to do and have the experiences she wants to have with her family and her kids and her clients and her relationships. But there's a third passion, and I really want to start bringing this into and weaving this into this podcast, because it's really the foundational passion. It is the reason um, why I do a lot of what I do, and how I personally am able to give my clients so much hope and help them change their relationships to help them create those boundaries, to create the money, to create the things that they say that they want in their business out of a place of humility, a place of confidence, and a place of intention, right? And I know you guys have heard me talk a lot about God on my podcast because he's such a big thing. But I think that I want to have a few episodes just about this concept. The concept of God, the highest form of love. Because as a female entrepreneur, understanding ourselves and the power of femininity and how we can use that incredible, intense power to build, to attract, to do, to be great, to have something greater, and to have the things that we say we want, because God is absolutely a major player when it comes to life and business. Major player. He wants to see our success too. Then I think it makes sense that we understand him in a much deeper, a much profound, more profound, and a much greater way. And as I've been thinking about this message, and I'm like, you know what? Yeah, because I think, and it's been true for me as a Christian female entrepreneur. A lot of the things that hold me back in my business have been guilt, and that guilt has created trauma, and trauma is something we want to stay away from, and so it tends to create distance from us and our business to be able to create this beautiful thing here on earth with God because we don't fully trust it if we're consistently experiencing guilt. And I know for me, like the more that I have understood the miraculous and majesty of God, the less guilt I usually feel. And anytime I make a mistake, because trust me, I make plenty, I end up finding that I'm finding a lot more compassion for myself. And compassion is still a pathway to do. It's still a pathway to grow. It's still a pathway to keep walking forward in faith, in creation. But guilt and worry, those are things that really stop us and make us afraid and make us fear to move forward. And we often see this sometimes reflected back to us in our relationships because unfortunately, people aren't perfect. Um, they'll reflect back to us, even the greatest relationships we on this earth that we have will still reflect back to us a negative message sometimes. Not intentionally. And heavens, I might even accidentally reflect a negative message back to you from this podcast. But that was never my intention. But my intention in this podcast is to help you grow in a way where you feel confident, where you feel clear, you feel like you can have the things that you say you want in life and business. I don't want my listeners or my clients to struggle with the feast or famine. I don't want my clients or my listeners, my relationships to struggle with wondering if they're worthy or if there's something that they need to be guilty of, right? Or feeling like they can never have what they say they want because they did this XYZ thing. Because that's not the way the universe works. That is not the way God works. That is the way the adversary works, is to keep us in a place, in a little tiny box where we can't move anymore. There's purpose for that box, but we are meant to live in light. We are meant to live in faith. We are meant to live in glory. We are meant to live in purpose, especially as a daughter of God. We are meant to sing his praises, to speak his truth. Our voices, there's a reason why the adversary wants our voices silenced the most. And it's because our voices are the ones that bring the most truth. My loves, today, I am really, really, really bringing in the message of God to you with a lot more umph, a lot more emphasis, because you deserve it. You deserve to know how much love is really there for you to take. How much love has been specifically created for you. Even though you might not always see it, it's there. And the reason why it's there is because God exists and He is absolutely 100% aware of you because you are one of His favorite creations. You are one of the reasons, like, one of the many reasons why He refuses to step down from being a God. You are the reason why He refuses to act outside of His boundaries because He knows what that would mean for you if He did. He refuses to have that type of an impact on you. And so, no matter what it is that you're experiencing in your life, in your business, in your relationships, it doesn't matter. And I know that that can sometimes sound a little jarring when you've got all of this stuff that maybe is happening and it's hard and it's traumatic and you're wondering like where he is, right? Because all you can see is the hard. This is the reason why I need to bring this message more to you to help you always find hope, to keep going, to keep building, to keep growing, to keep fighting because he needs you too. This world needs you. He put you here because the world needs you. Truly. The world needs your authentic message. Truly. And it doesn't take any money to share it. It doesn't take a whole lot of time and effort to share it. You might have to hone it. You might have to grow it. But you were meant to, if you're listening, you're meant to be an influencer. And you know it. You feel it. If you just heard Cade, please edit that. Somewhere down deep inside of your soul, the idea of influencing other people for hope, for love, for good, like ignites your soul too. And you know you want to move forward, but and maybe you've even made six figures with this message. But I'm telling you that one of the things that the world needs so much more of is our Father in heaven. We really need him more than ever. So part of this podcast now is going to be some really, really, really meat and juicy conversations about how we weave God into our business and our lives for our success. I want to share with you personal stories that he shared with me so that way you can have the relationships and the success that you have been craving. And I'm so excited, my loves, for you to have this message too, for you to have this type of growth, for you to to really finally have a place of peace, a true place of peace, because no matter what is happening, there's always, there's always a place for you in his universe. So let's talk about this foundational piece in your life and in your business more. And let's talk about it today. Because one of the things that I've realized, as having him as such a major piece in my own life and business, when things haven't gone exactly the way I have wanted them to, if I'm able to sit back and really check into his voice and his compassion and knowing that he wants my success as much as I do, when I can actually lean on that, I'm able to get clarity. And clarity is one of the most amazing, and I don't even say the most amazing, it's necessary for our ability to move forward in life and business in relationships in a way that is authentic and true to who we are. And sometimes we need to see, we need to find clarity in a much more perfect light, something that has a lot more perspective for us in our life and in our business, right? I know I've needed way greater wisdom than I've been able to possess myself. But this is also how I know with 100% certainty that when I get that wisdom, it doesn't come from me. This is also how I know he's behind my business. This is how I know he's with me every step of the way. And how I know he's cheering me on. Because what does that mean to you to be able to hear clearly direction, right? Direction that's specific for you. My love, it's there. But when we are constantly caught up in fear and doubt and not sure if we're going to have the things that we need for our families, it's really hard to hear him and it's really hard to take intentional action, intentional and influential action towards these goals, right? Especially if we don't think that they're going to bring us any type of a reward. So today I want to invite you to just sit back for a minute. And even if you are finding success, sit back for just a minute. And I really want to invite you to find like where you're wealthy. Where do you really feel rich? And I want to invite you to sit back and see God's hand in that. For me personally, I really, really love seeing God's hand in the way my kids are happy and joyful. They might not have everything that they ever say they want, but that doesn't bring joy anyway. But they're happy, and I'm so grateful for that. I'm so grateful for my home. I'm grateful for my cars. They're not everything I wanted right now, but I'm still grateful I have them, right? I'm grateful for my business. I'm grateful for you, listeners. And the other thing that's amazing about bringing God into the business is not only does it bring clarity, but it also brings another anchor that we build businesses off of, and that is gratitude. A business that is built off of intentionality, perspective, clarity, and gratitude is a business that thrives. So how can we bring that intentionality? How can we bring that clarity, that perspective, and that gratitude into our business? And this is why God is such a center cornerstone, is because he brings all four. My loves, I'm going to be doing you a disservice if we don't talk more about how he plays a role in your business, how he plays a role in healing your relationships. Because if your relationships, even one of them, one of your important relationships you feel is in turmoil, that's going to really put a drain on your ability to perform in your business. As women, as female entrepreneurs, our relationships are dear to us. And I don't want to say that it's not to men, but women are natural nurturers. And so therefore relationships are something that we are keenly aware of. And if we are in fear, we are definitely not attracting. But if we're in faith, there's power. There's so much attractive power that God gives to us in that energy, in that mind space, in that direction. So today, not only am I going to invite you for the gratitude, but I'm also going to invite you to make him an intentional business partner now. He's just as equally excited about what you're creating as what you are. Whether it be a coaching business, a clothing business, a bakery, it doesn't matter. A daycare, making him an intentional piece in your business lends you power that is unlike anything you've ever seen. And that power is going to keep you growing, and that growth continues lending you financial peace and prosperity, because money is a reflection of who we are. All right, my loves. So buckle up, get ready. We are definitely going to have a massive creative guest in every single one of our next podcasts, talking about boundaries, talking about your business, and talking about the relationships that mean something to you. Because how can we not have him in every single message? And until next week, I'll see you soon. Bye, guys.
All right, Boundary Boss Babes. I'm super excited that you tuned in with me today. Make sure you tune in again next week as we chat about more Boundary Boss Babe topics. We're going to get into so many other things about how to set boundaries with your business, how to set boundaries with your relationships, so you can truly have the time, the money, and the flexibility that you are seeking. So tune in next week. Make sure you subscribe to this podcast. Let your other Boss Babe friends know about it. And also, if you've got any questions, make sure you submit them into the podcast by clicking on the Send Us a Text message at the bottom of the podcast description. I look forward to seeing you guys next week. See you later, Boss Babes.